All right, oh, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. Thank you for joining us. This is Serious Matters on ONIF TV. Okay, well, I hope you had a very wonderful week, and I hope you are having a very wonderful weekend. Good to be with you again. My name is Olukunle Abraham. And of course, when you see me, you know there is serious matters to be discussed. We have talked about Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso and Bishop Isaac Idausa. And in this particular edition, we are going to be talking about the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, no other person but former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. You know, the Yorubas have a saying, they say that you know, you get some questions where we say, we for ask those questions, but you know, say we no get our voice no loud. You know, when you're talking and your voice cannot go up, we say, speak louder, and nobody is hearing your voice. Then you have somebody who can speak loud. Then, of course, the matter now goes viral. Sowore has tackled Atiku in a recent interview which he had on Arise Television or Arise News about the $16 billion. I hope some of you remember that money it doesn't leave my memory. That 16 billion naira has passed through our electricity in this country, and still we don't have lights. I'm running on generator now. $16 billion has passed through our electricity. $16 billion has passed through our electricity, and we still don't have light in Nigeria. Who is doing who? Who is doing who? Who is doing who? Who is deceiving who? Now I feel very bad. I feel bad whenever I think about that money, because I always remember. It's good that Sowore is talking about it. Yes, I always remember, sincerely speaking, I always remember that 16 billion naira, $16 billion, not naira, $16 billion. Now, calculate that in today's currency. In the rate of naira, where naira is today, as of today, we already have naira at about 630 naira to $1. It's a big shame on us. $16 billion passed through our electricity, and we still do not have light. It is sad. It's bad. It's bad. I don't know how some people feel comfortable, you know, single-handedly eating what belongs to, what belongs to millions of people, and you are comfortable. Some of you even go ahead and buy private jets. I don't know how, you don't get conscience. They don't get conscience. Conscience no dey break them. Say they consume waiting, 10, 100 millions of people suppose they consume together, and you go open your eyes, you go they fly inside that private jet, they look down, you go they see darkness, the people they in darkness. God will judge you now. Okay, maybe we should start by talking about Atiku Abubakar. Let us meet Atiku Abubakar as a presidential candidate on the People's Democratic Platform. Atiku Abubakar was born 25th of November 1946. He's a Nigerian politician and businessman who served as the Vice President of Nigeria from 1999 to 2007. During the presidency of Olusegun Obasanjo, he ran as governor of Adamawa State in 1990, 1997, and later in 1998, being elected before becoming Olusegun Obasanjo's running mate during the 1999 presidential election and re-elected in 2003. Since his entry into politics in 1989, Atiku Abubakar has unsuccessfully contested 5 times for the office of President of Nigeria in 1993, 2007, 2011, 2015, and 2019. Now he's running again in 2023. In 1993, he contested the Social Democratic Party presidential primaries, losing to Moshood Abiola and Babangana Kingibe. He was a presidential candidate of the Action Congress in 2007 presidential election, coming in third to Umaru Yaradua of the People's Democratic Party and Muhammadu Buhari of the ANPP. He contested again the presidential primaries of the People's Democratic Party during the 2011 presidential election, losing out to incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan. In 2014, he joined the All Progressive Congress ahead of the 2015 presidential election and contested the presidential primaries, losing to Muhammadu Buhari. In 2017, he returned to the People's Democratic Party. I'll take that again. In 2017, he returned to the People's Democratic Party and was the party's presidential candidate during the 2019 presidential election, again losing to the incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari, as it says. Now, in May 2022, he was chosen as the People's Democratic candidate in the 2023 Nigeria presidential election. Well, I would like to take a few, stuffs about him. Well, business career-wise, Abubakar worked in the Nigerian Customs Service for 20 years, rising to become the deputy director as the second highest position in the service was then known. He retired in April 1989 and took up full-time business and politics. He's also into real estate. In 1974, he applied for and received a 31,000 naira loan to build his first house in Yola, which he put up for rent. From proceeds of the rent, he purchased another plot and built his second house. He continued this way, building a sizable portfolio of properties in Yola, Nigeria. In 1981, he moved into agriculture, acquiring 2,500 acres of land near Yola to start a maize and corn farm. The business fell on hard times and closed in 1986. My first foray into agriculture in the 1980s ended in failure, he wrote in April 2014 blog. He then ventured into trading, buying and selling truckloads of rice, flour, and sugar. He's also ventured into transportation, also involvement in business. Conflict of interest accusations has since trailed him on account of his involvement in business while a civil servant who exercised supervisory authority on his part. Abubakar has defended the decision, saying his involvement was limited to the ownership of shares which government rules permitted, and that he was not involved in the day-to-day running of the business. His company, Necoit, that's spelling NICOTEC, would later be rebranded into Intels and would later go on to feature prominently in accusation of money laundering leveled against him Abubakar by the US government during his vice presidency. Maybe we should just run quickly. I don't want to take much of your time so that we can discuss the tackle of Sowore on Atiku, because Atiku said quite a number of things on that particular interview. One of the things that I saw him mention was about Peter Obi. He said Peter Obi did not contact him, when he was going to decamp to the Labour Party, and he also mentioned something which I find very, very, I find it's not matured. Yes, I find it not mature to be politically said, that, Labour Party does not have a governor, does not have anybody in the Senate, does not have this. And I can imagine, do you think people voted parties in Osun? Because he made reference to what happened in Osun. People didn't vote for party in Osun. People voted for Ademola Adeleke. People voted Ademola Adeleke, not party. So mind you, don't think that, let nobody deceive himself by thinking that what happened in Osun is going to repeat itself at the presidential level. If people are rejecting APC, if mark my words, if people are rejecting APC not to plunge themselves into PDP, I don't see that happening rather. It's not to plunge themselves into another party. So it would be wrong for anybody to think that, because PDP won, won in Osun, that means people are now interested in PDP at all levels. No, that's Peter Obi. You said Peter Obi has 1,000 votes, 1 million votes on social media, and yet they did not pay. No, you never can tell. Were people interested in voting Right Honorable Lasun Yusuf? Were people interested in having him as their governor? And so I think people voted personality, and I think that's going to repeat itself come 2023, because that was what brought President Muhammadu Buhari into office. If you whether you believe it or not, it was personality, not about party. Not about party. Because you begin to hear people say, is this the same Buhari that I used to know? You understand? Because that is to say that they were expecting quite a lot of things from him. They were expecting not from the party. Not even now that people feel that the party has failed. Or look at what happened. Look at what is happening to those victims of the train attack in March. They were being flogged in that viral video, and those boys are threatening to kidnap our presidents, threatening to kidnap a state governor and kill them. We'll come back to that. I want us to look at the early politics of Atiku Abubakar. Abubakar's first foray into politics in in the early 80s, when he worked behind the scene on the governorship campaign of Bamagana Atiku, who at that time was managing director of the Nigeria Port Authority. He canvassed for votes on behalf of Atiku and also donated to the campaign. Towards the end of his custom career, he met General Yehu Musa Yar'Adua, who had become second in command, chief of staff, supreme headquarters between 1976 and 1979. Abubakar was drawn by Yar'Adua into the politics meeting that were now happening regularly in Yar'Adua's Lagos home, which gave rise to the People's Front of Nigeria, PFN. The People's Front of Nigeria included the politicians such as Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, Babagana Kingibe, Bola Tinubu, Sabo Bakin, Zuo, Rabi Okokwanso, Abdullahi, Aliyu, Samalu, Sumaila, and Abubakar Koko. In 1989, Abubakar was elected the national vice chairman of the People's Front of Nigeria. In the build-up to the Third Nigerian Republic, Abubakar won a seat to represent his constituency at the 1989 Constituent Assembly, set up to decide a new constitution for Nigeria. The People's Front, was eventually denied registration by the military government. None of the groups that applied was registered anyway, and the PFN merged with the government-created Social Democratic Party. On 1st September 1990, Abubakar announced his Gongola State's gubernatorial bid. A year later, before the election could hold, Gongola State was broken into two, Adamawa and Taraba states, by the federal government. Abubakar fell into the new Adamawa states. After the contest, he won the SDP primaries in 1991, but was soon disqualified by the government from contesting the election. In 1993, Abubakar contested the SDP primaries, presidential primaries. The result after the first ballot of the primaries held in Jos was Moshood Abiola with 3,617 votes, Babagana Kingibe with 3,255 votes, and Abubakar with 2,066 votes. Abubakar and Kingibe considered joining forces, combining 5,231 votes to challenge Abiola. However, after Shehu Yar'Adua asked Atiku Abubakar to withdraw from the campaign, with Abiola promising to make him his running mate, Abiola was later pressured by SDP governors to select Kingibe as his vice presidential running mate in the June 12th presidential election. After the June 12th, during the General Sani Abacha transition, Abubakar, he showed interest to contest for the gubernatorial seat of Adamawa State under the United Nigeria Congress Party. The transition government came to an end with the death of General Abacha. In 1998, Abubakar joined the People's Democratic Party and later secured nomination for governor of Adamawa State, winning the December 1998 governorship election. But before he could be sworn in, he accepted a position as a running mate to nomination. The PDP presidential candidate, former military head of state General Olusegun Obasanjo, who went on to win the 1999 presidential election, ushering in the fourth Nigeria Republic. Still talking about the person of Atiku Abubakar. Let's look at his vice presidency. Let's look at him as vice president of Nigeria. Now, with all that we're going to be discussing here, you will now be able to conclude if he is a person to vote for. Is he a person to vie for? Is he a person to vouch for? Is he a person that we can count on So let's put party differences aside and all of that. Let's put party differences aside. Let us see who he really is. And that's what we're looking at now. First time on May 29th, 1999, Abubakar was sworn in as Vice President of Nigeria. His first term was mainly characterized by his role as Chairman of the National Economic Council and Head of the National Council on Privatization, overseeing the sales of hundreds of loss-making and poorly managed public enterprises alongside. I think at this point he was able to garner quite a lot of wealth to himself, which way in way of business anyway. Second time, Atiku's second time as Vice President was marked by a stormy relationship with President Obasanjo, and that brings us to quite a number of statements made by former President Olusegun Obasanjo. In 2006, Abubakar was involved in a bitter public battle with his boss, President Olusegun Obasanjo, ostensibly arising from the latter's bid to amend certain provisions of the Constitution to take another shot at the presidency, which was the third term agenda. And Atiku was not in support of that. Now, the controversy generated by the failed constitutional amendment momentarily caused a rift in the People's Democratic Party. The National Assembly eventually voted the amendments allowing Obasanjo to run for another term. In 2006, Abubakar fell out with his boss Olusegun Obasanjo and left from the People's Democratic Party to the Action Congress of Nigeria in preparation for the 2007 elections. Well, maybe we should just move on. Looking at his presidential election bid in 2007, on the 25th of November 2006, Abubakar announced that he would run for presidency. Now, he has run for presidency for at least 5 times. At least for about 5 times. He has moved from one party to the other and returned to the other party, and so on and so forth. Now, let's look at this. Atiku was implicated in an international bribery scandal along with William Jefferson and one of Atiku's wife, Jennifer Atiku Abubakar, following rumors by pundits that Atiku was unable to visit the United States in January 2017. The U.S. government released a statement saying it would need the consent of the politician before it can disclose the true state of his immigration status to the United States. Abubakar has publicly claimed that the true reason is that his visa is still being processed. However, in recent times, Atiku, in complaint with Bukola Saraki, visited the United States of America, the USA, 17th January 2019 with the aid of Brian Ballard. Well, he also has titles and all of that. Let's run quickly because of our time. Let's look at Sowore's attack. Now, Moyebele Sowore, the presidential candidate for the African Action Congress, has demanded answers from Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, on the 16 billion naira investment in electricity while he was vice president under Olusegun Obasanjo. Well, this was in response to Atiku's earlier interview on Arise Television, where the People's Democratic flag bearer stated that Sowore knows nothing about the country as he only visited during election period. He lives outside the country. In the interview, Atiku said Sowore doesn't even know anything about the country because he lives outside the country. He comes every 4 years to contest the presidency. He fails and goes back again. So what does Sowore know about the country? Absolutely nothing. Well, what Sowore is saying, responding to Atiku, Sowore gave instances of how Atiku had left the country severally, whilst also adding that the People's Democratic flag bearer has lived in about 5 countries outside of Nigeria since 1999, and that he is a journalist and probably has access to information such as he's given at this time, and so there's nothing wrong with giving credence to credit and credence to whatever he says at this time. We would want to pay attention to him because he is a journalist. Now, in his tweets, he wrote, "Dear Atiku, I watched the clip of your Arise TV interview this morning wherein you were asked about my view on power scam under your regime. You failed to address how $16 billion was used to procure darkness. Instead, you claim it doesn't even know. Well, these are some things I know. That number one, you ran for office for the first time in 1992 as a presidential aspirant of the SDP. I also ran for the post of the SU president of the University of Lagos. You lost, I won. You left, I stayed to deliver democracy to Nigeria. Now, he said, I then left for the US in 1999 at the age of 28. You went on to become the vice president of Nigeria. You left Nigerians in darkness after spending 16 billion naira on power. I stayed with Nigerians, shining light on the mess you and your boss created in that sector. You left, I stayed. Now, after your failed plan to succeed your boss, Olusegun Obasanjo, who wanted a third term in office, I stayed to botch his third term bid. You, however, joined another political party and tried your luck. You left after you couldn't win. You left and I stayed. Since 1999, you have lived in about 5 countries outside Nigeria. I know this because your IP keeps changing the same way you kept changing political parties. We both contested in 2019. It was my first time contesting, but after the election you left, I stayed, and I'm still here. You have done your rounds from SDP to UNCP to PDP to ACN to APA back to APC to back to PDP. You have never done anything for Nigerian people. You have only taken care of your needs and those that benefit your family, cronies and friends. It is time to quit and let Nigeria experience electricity. My question again is, what happened to $16 billion released for electricity during your tenure as vice president? And I think this is one question that Atiku Abubakar will still have to answer. Whether now or later. That's the truth. It's a truth. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's a truth. Now, some of the things that you should know is that Sowore had accused Atiku for procuring darkness for Nigeria with the investment of $16 billion on electricity. I said that again. I can't imagine 16 billion naira passing through our electricity and we're still where we are. And Nigeria is still in darkness. This is sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's high time we speak up. It's high time we speak up. These guys cannot be riding private jets around and Nigeria is in darkness. They go and stay when this election has come and gone now, and they don't win. They run away again. They get out until after 4 years before they come back. In an earlier tweet where he responded to Atiku on issues of the national grid, he wrote, "The national electricity grid collapse started when you and Obasanjo invested $16 billion to procure darkness for Nigeria. The Muhammad Buhari regime came to gazette grid collapse as a law." Alhaji Atiku, don't pretend that you care about the national grid. Well, that came from Sowore. I want us to look at Baba Obasanjo. Baba Obasanjo has made so many statements about Atiku Abubakar. Yes, Baba is about 75. He's 75 now, so he had mentioned that he's not a partisan politician anymore. And then, of course, he will support whoever needs to be. He will support, and so he will pray for whoever. So I mean, you know what he's trying to say. But on several occasions, as Baba Obasanjo said concerning Atiku Abubakar, I do not have personal grudges with anyone. If you do not do well for Nigeria, you do not do well for all of us. He went on to say, I want to pick because he said he had made quite a lot of statements, especially in his book, in Baba's book. He said, I know Atiku very well, and I have mentioned my position with Atiku. My position has not changed. He said, On a personal note, he added, if my children are getting married, he sends representative, and when his children are getting married, he also sends representative. He said, but on political grounds, my position has not changed. He said, if I support Atiku for a political office other than the one I supported him in the past when I did not know him, maybe, but now that I know him, God will not forgive me. Now, there are quite a number of things that he has said, and I'm sure you had seen you must have read about some of the things that he has said about Atiku, not being faithful with things that were committed to him and all of that. My questions that might arise might be, why is it because Atiku did not support Baba's third-term bid or all of that? Is that why he's talking this way? But whichever way, I think we need to be very, very careful. For those of you who feel that, oh, it is all about PDP, it's all about, no, I'm talking about an office here. I'm talking about an office here. The office of the president. Is this man fit? And so, what also happened to $16 billion under his watch? Yet Nigeria is still in darkness. I want to leave. It's a wonderful Sunday. I hope you also enjoyed yourself. Drop your comments, make them simple and civil, and also like our videos. Also do please share our videos with others. Share our videos with others. We'll always appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you. So we'll talk again, Abi. You mean Okowa? Okowa, from all that we have read and garnered about Okowa, being the running mate of Atiku, he's a great man, and so I think it's good to go. The only issue that we had is being why Atiku did not choose Wike, and we've had so many things that look, Wike is a very stubborn person. That Wike does not take, so Atiku must have foreseen, what he was to his own boss, foreseen the same thing happening to him. They say person where they use cutlass do something to somebody head, no, they won't make them take cutlass. They say, what are you doing with that cutlass? Because he knows what the cutlass can do. He knows the damage it can do. Let's leave it there. Just drop your comment, make it simple and simple. Thank you very much for watching. I love you all. I appreciate you. Please do prepare and have a very wonderful week ahead. God bless you. Bye-bye.